Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna. Welcome to Sri Sri Radha Vinu Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Sri Vrindavan Dham.
Dandavat Pranam, Dandavat Pranam. Sorry, how do you? I'm trying to turn it down. Can you turn it down?
It's the volume buttons on the right hand side. There's two buttons, up and down. So we will begin with Mangalacharan. Page 1 in this book, Sri Gauriya Giti Gucha, Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukapada Kamala.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audaya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Varam Marinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasham Namami Trilandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Jagataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leela Amrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Deshava Nityanamine Bhakti Martya Charitraya Swashritanam Chaparine Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Shri Rama Premadarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanami Devi Naitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Jvala Premadhya Shri Te. Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinakarine Rupanurabnirudhapa Siddhanta Dhvantaharine Namo Gaurakishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambhar Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugambharayate Gaura Virbhava Bhume Swam Nirdeshta Sajana Priya Vaisnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mandam Matergati Matsarvasva Padam Dojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumal Srimad Ratnagar Singhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshtalidhi Sevyamano Smarami Shri Mandra Sarasarambhi Vamshivattatkatastitaha Karshandehi Smaray Gopi Gopinatha Shri Esunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyamadhu Jivanam Anandam Gurivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shwadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyata Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jai Jai Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru
Page page 29.
Is Jiva Pavana Prabhu there?
Yes, he
Dandava Pranam Jiva Pavana Prabhu. So, if you don't have a songbook, then Jiva Pavana Prabhu very kindly always posts the bhajan in the comment section, so you can follow along by scrolling to the newest or the oldest, the most recent comment. They've changed the rulings. So the most recent comment by Jiva Pavana Prabhu, and you will see the bhajan there. So Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru. Vrindavan Vasi Jata, Shri Vaisnava Vandana, page 36. You know, every day when I offer pranam to the Vaishnavas, I say, whoever were, who are now, or whoever will be, past, present, or future, in this bhajan, where does he say that? In the 6th verse, Hoyachena Hoyvena Prabhur Jatodas Sabhar Charana Vando Dante Korikhas. Holding a straw between my teeth, I submit my glorification at the feet of all of the servants of Mahaprabhu, who ever were or will be. I love that.
That means to every jiva.
It means to every jiva. Because every jiva is Nitya Krishna Das, an eternal servant of Krishna. So it's such a beautiful mood of humility and supplication, offering pranam to all of the servants of the Lord who ever were or whoever will be.
Vrindavano vasi joto Vaishnavero nono Vrindavano
Jaya Jaya Nityananda Rohini Kumar. Page 64 in this songbook by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Hopefully you have it on KK Songs or the other one. I think there's another site called Vaisnava Songs.
Just so you know, if you're new to the thread, if you keep scrolling down to the bottom, you'll find the name Jivapavana Prabhu, and he always posts the kirtans and bhajans so that we can all join in kirtan together. So keep scrolling to the bottom and you'll find the next kirtan coming up. And sometimes he posts nectar, so keep searching.
He always posts nectar.
He always posts.
I don't know how he finds it so fast. He's a very fast bee, searching for nectar. So Jai Jai Nityananda Rohini Kumar. It's such a beautiful bhajan, and I never saw this bhajan before this version of the songbook came out. It's by Vrindavan Das Thakur, who has such a strong nishtha in Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So I'm going to read the translation. All glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the son of Rohini. To deliver the fallen souls, he extends his two arms. With a choked voice, he stammers sweetly. Whomever he sees, he lovingly embraces. Overflowing with praying, his eyes always roll about restlessly, looking like bumblebees hovering over a golden lotus. The merciful Lord, Sri Nitai, knows the sufferings of others. He has strung together a garland of the holy names, which he has bestowed upon the people of this world. He has subdued the sinners and the atheist, but he has distributed praying to the poor and the lowly. Calling out, "Alas, O Gauranga!" he falls to the earth. Nitai's whole body becomes soaked with the tears from his eyes. Within his heart, Vrindavan Das considers Sri Nityananda Prabhu to be like Mount Sumeru falling upon the earth. Krishna Pasya Shachi Shita Anupama Rupam. Starting with Pasya, page 338. Pasya Shachi Sutam Anupama Rupam. Pasya 338. double.
Anupam Arupam Parashashaji Sutam Anupam Arupam
Double.
Parashashaji
Slow. Tak, tum, boom, tak, tum.
Parashashaji Sutam Anupam Arupam Parashashaji.
Let her do it. Let her do it and then come in.
Okay, sorry. Is it me?
Sorry. Yes.
Sorry.
Parashashaji Sutam Anupam Arupam Parashashaji Sutam.
Okay. You can do 1, 2, 3. And you can do tick tock tick boom boom
Well,
boom.
at least everyone knows we're not professional musicians.
Just so you know, I'm actually conducting a 3-part orchestra, and sometimes it's a little bit interesting here. Okay, one more time.
Parashashaji Sutam Anupam Arupam Parashashaji Sutam Parashashaji Sutam Anupam Arupam Parashashaji Sutam
So that one and that special one for Srimati Radhika, maybe some of the newer Sanskrit ones, I'll try to send them, I'll try to get copies of them and send it. Sorry, I didn't know that it wasn't in the KK songs.
I wrote it in my book, so. Krishna.
I have to listen to Madhukar singing this Hari Hari Govinda Hare so I can learn it. Sudevi, will you lead Mangala Gita? Shrita Kamala, page 352. Shrita Kamala Kuchamandala Dhrita Kundala A. And it's, the title is Sri Mangala Gitam, but it starts with S-R-I-T-A, page 352, and I know that's there for sure. Radhika Charana Padma, Sakala Shreyer Sadma, Jatane Jai Nahi Aradhilo, page 102 by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Radhika Charana Padma.
Radhika Charan Padmo Sakala Shri Rasamo Radhika Charan Padmo Radha
best bhajan in the whole book. Page. Oh, it's not page 5 anymore. Ooh. Oh, in this book it's page 9.
What's the best bhajan in the world?
Mahamantra. Hare Krishna.
Oh, it's your favorite. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's our favorite. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. There are no questions.
There are?
No.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangayate Giring Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times unto the dust of the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja, and the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Before opening this book, Going Beyond Vaikuntha, we witnessed something interesting today. And I think it's essential to mention something about it. Many persons who were born and raised in the society of devotees, in the Krishna consciousness movement, are having some difficulty or doubt about whether it is appropriate to read or share Krishna's pastimes with young children. Because there it talks about kidnapping young ladies like Rukmini, and mothers chasing their children with sticks and binding them with ropes, and little boys killing demons. So
They said it's better to watch Sesame Street.
It's better to watch Sesame Street. That is why it is essential to always be under the guidance of Vaishnavas, of Sri Guru. Because without being under proper guidance, we will mistake mundane morality or current considerations about what is right and what is wrong, according to today's standards, over and above the pastimes of Krishna, which are the only thing which can free us from our eternal damnation in this world. They are the only thing, the Maha Oshadhi, the supreme remedy for all of our suffering conditions, the supreme remedy for the blazing forest fire that we are trapped in, the supreme remedy for all of our deep, deep intoxication and ignorance to such an extent that we are practically numbed. You know, when they put you under to do surgery, we're in such a condition that we're in such a blazing fire and we don't even realize it. We think everything is good. This is right and Krishna's pastimes are wrong. I am right and God is wrong. Why didn't someone just tell Srimati Radhika to use a gas stove instead of cow dung? It would have been easier for her. Maybe when we go back to Godhead, we'll bring a gas stove as a gift for her.
Actually, they said Mother Yashoda, no wonder she's so angry. She's a woman who has too much work to do. She's raising 2 boys. She's got to churn the milk the cows, and she's making butter for Krishna. She needs help. That's why.
Mother Yashoda is an overworked woman.
That's what they said.
So she's stressed out. She can't handle it. She's got too much of a load. So
she was going to beat her
she was
son.
going to beat her son because, it was just too much. And poor kids, they have to hear about demons being beheaded by God, by Krishna.
And eyeballs popping out right like Rasgullas.
So, when these considerations come up, we should understand why Krishna performs his pastimes. Why does he even come here whatsoever? He doesn't need to. He can just instantly, within the blink of an eye, without even a second, not even a blink of an eye, in just yoga nidra, cosmic sleep, create and destroy millions of universes. He's completely unaffected by the change of body. When the soul leaves one body and goes to another body, how can he be affected by that? He knows the soul is eternal and the body is made of matter. We're affected by it by our minds. But to consider the pastimes of Krishna to be inappropriate for children, what else will they think of? Children are exposed to all kinds of nonsense from such a young age these days, even through Sesame Street. Even through Sesame Street. Subtle stuff is being impressed upon them. So our mundane ideas of morality. Oh my God, this is too violent for my children. I don't want to teach them the wrong things, so I shouldn't teach them about the pastimes of Krishna. What will the result be? They will become obsessed with Game of Thrones. They will become obsessed with all kinds of things like, what are those people you mentioned today? Those Kardashians. They will become obsessed with all of these kind of things because we're not giving them Krishna. They will become obsessed with how big someone's lips are or what kind of injections they had in their backsides or whatever. This will be the result if we do not give Krishna. That is why Krishna shows all of these amazing pastimes. They're quite interesting. They're quite almost shocking. I mean, he's just a little boy and a demoness comes with poison on her breast to kill this baby. And she's dressed up like the goddess of fortune and everyone just lets her in. And he's just so sweetly sleeping and he's just sucking what he thinks is milk. And poor beautiful goddess, who's actually a demoness, Putana, takes her true form, which is 12 miles long, is screaming and she can't push this baby off, even with the power of thousands of elephants. She cannot push him off. And then he sucks out her milk and her life as well, and she falls down dead. This is a demon. Krishna chops off the head of Shishupal after he's offended him 101 times with his chakra. And then everyone witnesses as Shishupal's soul flies through the air, goes into the foot of Krishna. Krishna expands himself inside of this giant snake 8 miles long, Aghasur. When all his friends are being swallowed and passing out and falling unconscious, Krishna goes inside and expands himself, kills Aghasur. Everyone witnesses the soul of Aghasur go up into the sky and then enter into the body of Krishna, and Krishna glances upon all of his friends and saves them and brings them back to life. A very poisonous snake with thousands of hoods, so large that his hoods are touching the clouds, is just nearby in Jamuna. Krishna binds his dhoti very tight, jumps into Jamuna, makes a lot of noise, because this poisonous snake has created such a toxic environment that nothing can survive. Even Krishna's friends, they drank that water and they all fell unconscious. And then Krishna was wrestling with him for a long time. That massive snake caught him in his coils. Krishna's mother, Krishna's gopis and all, so many were fainting, seeing this sight. They thought, oh my God, Krishna is going to die. But then what did Krishna do? Krishna somehow got out and then jumped on all of the heads of Kaliya in such a way that it appeared as the most beautiful dance. Natavaranagarananda. Everyone is watching, my God, what a beautiful dance, Nataraj. Krishna is dancing in such a way, and the gopis right at that moment, the first time they saw Krishna dancing on Kaliya, within their hearts came a spontaneous desire that we also would like to dance with him. And he was stomping on those heads, and blood and fire and vomit and everything was coming out. And Kaliya's jewels from his head, the red jewels, were falling into Jamuna, which is darkish complexion, dark bluish. What is she called?
Kalindi.
Kalindi? No, but there's another word I'm trying to remember, because she's darkish like a sapphire. So the complexion of Jamuna plus the glowing stones of Kaliya's hoods made a beautiful purplish hue.
Keep going.
Okay.
There's a question there, I just don't want you
There.
to miss it.
So Krishna is dancing on these hoods of Kaliya and completely subdues him. He seems very fearsome. But we see that Krishna is performing all of these pastimes. Why? To distract us from all of the sanskars, all of the impressions, all of our own pastimes and the pastimes of others in this world, which will, at the time of death, bring us where? Only back into samsara. But to remember the pastimes of Krishna, even his killing of demons is sweet. Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram madhuradipater akilam madhuram. Even his killing of demons is sweet. Everything is sweet about Krishna. And this is the only thing, to hear this Harikatha and develop a taste for this Harikatha, the glories of Krishna, is the only thing by which we, the soul, can be removed from this material environment and brought to our eternal transcendental environment. Srimad Bhagavatam states, Dharmas vanushtita pungshang vishvakshena katasuya notpadeyad yadidatim shrama eva hi kevalam. All of the activities, all of the works that one undergoes in this world, if it does not bring about a rati, an attraction for hearing the pastimes of the Supreme Transcendental Person, Krishna, Vishvakshena Katasuya. From who? Who do you hear from? From that person who has transcendental loving relationship with Krishna. All of those activities are considered nothing more than hard, useless labor if it doesn't bring us an attraction for hearing the pastimes of Krishna. So, I could say, well, we heard it when we were young. We were put to bed hearing the Nrsingadev story, and my God, that's quite violent. But you know what? It was so exciting. Some people were afraid of it. And we turned out okay, right? The point is, the pastimes of Krishna are the only remedy for all of our material entrapments, all of our material existence. To hear and remember the pastimes of Krishna is the only remedy. And these pastimes are not to support the idea that women are so strong and that they are the dharmic thing and that we should follow, whatever. Some people try to extract all of these kind of things. Oh, because Krishna is begging in the footsteps of Srimati Radhika, so this is establishing women's rights. It has nothing to do with the mundane relationships of this world. Radhika is not a woman. Srimati Radhika is Krishna's own transcendental Hladini potency, his own heart manifesting in front of himself. If we are not in sadhu sangha, if we're not under the guidance of Vaishnavas, then what we will do, Srila Gurudev said, if you are not under the guidance of Vaishnavas, if you are not following the line of thought of your Gurudev, then you are bound to become sahajya. What is the definition of sahajya? To superimpose the mundane upon the transcendental. That we are thinking that the result is mundane, and therefore we will avoid that and instead instill all kinds of mundane moral ideas and principles into the children. And what will be the result? They will see, because my consciousness is that I don't see that Krishna's pastimes are the priority, that these other things are the priority, then those who are emulating myself and my characteristics will also think that mundane morality is priority, and Krishna and Krishna's pastimes and Shastra and the words of Guru and Vaisnava are some secondary thing, the back burner thing. Then how will Krishna consciousness manifest? It is actually a great injustice, and it is violence to the jiva. What is the purpose of bringing children into this world? Srimad Bhagavatam tells us, Gurur na sasyat, svajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyan, daivam na sasyan, na pachista sasyan, na mochayadyas samupeta mrityum. Those who cannot deliver their dependents from the path which leads to death should not accept a position of guru, of even a friend, a confidant, a father, a mother, a demigod, a husband, anyone who has any position of looking after any dependent should not accept that position. And then our Guru Varga have given the explanation that those who are actually unfavorable to us hearing about the pastimes of Krishna, who are unfavorable for us to develop bhakti, they are fit to be rejected because they cannot save us from the path which leads to death. Samupeta mrityum. This is all spoken about in the Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam, chapter 2. Our Gurudev has this book. It's one of my favorite books. So powerful. And Gurudev is speaking on the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's bringing up all of these points. Anyway, we saw it today, and I thought, how interesting, because we were raised with that. And some people were concerned about it. But for most of us, it was quite exciting. Quite exciting. The pastimes of Krishna. And we find that how soon does one actually start to become influenced by all the mundane things? 4 or 5 years old? Really? Because they go and associate with their friends. And then their friends' parents are bringing them to watch some movie. And that movie has all kinds of things in it. Even the children's movies of today, they have all kinds of things which are very frightening. But there is nothing in them that reminds us of Krishna. So then what is the result of that? It only pulls us more and more into material consciousness. The duty of anyone in a position of authority is to somehow or other give Krishna as it is to those who are their dependents. Otherwise, what is the use of that relationship, really? It's only simply I and mine. I and mine will only keep us bound in this material world of birth and death. So now I'm going to look at the questions. You must be joking. No, we are not joking at all. Yes, Mother Yashoda is overworked. Mother Yashoda is never overworked. She is transcendental. And there is no meaning to overwork when it comes to serving Krishna.
She sent all the servants away.
She intentionally sent the servants away so that she could personally serve Krishna. This is what I mean by not being under guidance. If one is not under guidance, then they will take the transcendental subject matter and superimpose material ideas into it, mundaneize it. This is the definition of prakrita sahajya. It means because I am spontaneously mundane and I'm not under the guidance of Guru, Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, what will happen as a result? I will be, derailed. Naturally derailed, because my tendency is spontaneously for the material world. So I will superimpose my material conditioning onto the spiritual subject matter, or pull that spiritual subject matter into my material domain. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam has 9 cantos before the 10th. Just to establish that aho bhagyam, nanda gopa prajokasam yan mitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatana. How fortunate are the residents of Braj that Krishna is playing like a young boy in his courtyard. But they understand, those sages understand, Yan mitram paramanandam purna brahma sanatana. Paramanandam, the supreme, blissful, complete, absolute truth, eternal absolute truth. That personality is playing like a young boy in the courtyard of Nanda Baba. Those pastimes and those forms have nothing to do with the pastimes and the forms of this world. Well, they do. They're the origin, and we are considered the perverted reflection. Perverted. The mental state is perverted. The bodies are perverted. The consciousness is perverted. None of it is actually true in the truest sense, in that it is temporary. So it is not the same. Radhika is not like an ordinary woman of this world. Mother Yashoda is not an ordinary woman of this world who's a child abuser because she's tying Krishna up with a rope. No, it says in Damodarashtakam, what is that rope? It is the rope of her love and affection. Who can tie God? No one can. But by her love and her affection and her dedication, and because actually it is pleasing to him, he became bound. By her love and affection. And Radhika's moods of man, where she blocks Krishna and walks the other way, man is a state of prema, sneha, man. It is a state of transcendental divine love. And it creates such an eagerness in Krishna that his pleasure increases and skyrockets more and more. His transcendental happiness. By that. And so she is made of giving transcendental happiness, pleasure, love, and affection to Krishna. Every particle of her being is made of that, including her man. So we should not materialize it. Oh, my love is like Radha and Krishna's love. Every Hindi film does that kind of thing. Our love is like Radha and Krishna's love. People in UP, sometimes they think like that. Oh yeah, this is the place of Krishna. I'm like Krishna. This is Pyari Divani. This is transcendental love, divine love, prem. My love for you is prem. And then the next day, another prem and another prem, or at the end of life, then it is finished. It is not the same thing. So our Guru Varga have spent countless hours and years preaching so strongly so that we should understand that the pastimes of Krishna are not material, they are completely transcendental, and the effect of the pastimes of Krishna is also not material if we hear it from the right source. If we are filtering it and filtering out certain aspects, then we may materialize it, and what result will be had? It may not be favorable. It may not be favorable. And even there was mention today of talking about the beautiful thin waist of Rukmini. And then somewhere it says 12 or 13 years old or something like that, comparing like this. There's so many things that people do, Vaya Sandhi and all of these things. And traditionally, through all of history, now we have certain mental constructs based on current, very recent ideas. And we tend to superimpose these ideas onto all of history. Like we are the only things that actually matter in the universe. It is the extreme of ego. Only my concept. That's why I mentioned this about Srimati Radhika cooking on 100 clay pots. Couldn't they afford metal pots? Why does she have to cook on cow dung? Why don't they bring her an air conditioner and a stove? Hey, why do they always have to suffer Vipralambha Bhav? Let's just get them WhatsApp. Couldn't someone bring them a smartphone? We have all these mental ideas that are completely foolish. We think we can superimpose our ideas onto the transcendental, and this is also a form of sahajya. Prakrita sahajya. We don't understand that their pastimes are eternal and transcendental. And they are always, always favorable and beneficial to hear about. They are awakening the soul to divine love in transcendental service to our divine, eternal beloved, and that is Krishna. That is the purpose for all of our Shastra, especially, not just the Tattva Siddhanta, but especially the pastimes of Krishna. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, to hear the glories of Krishna. what is spoken about Krishna. Krishna Katha. Vikriditam Rajavidubiridam cha Vishnum Shradhanvito Nishiniyat Atavarnayatya Bhaktim Param Bhagavatim Pratilabdya Kamam Hridrogam Ashvapahinotya Chirena Dhira. Hridroga means the disease of lust of the heart, which has bound us in this material world in samsara since time immemorial. If we're wondering why we're suffering, it's because we're not hearing Krishna Katha from the lips of the pure devotee and not serving them and not following their instructions. We're not hearing the glories of Krishna, so we're trapped in this material world, suffering the threefold miseries. That's why we are bound in all of this nonsense. Whatever it is, riots, COVID, not COVID, all of it. It's all nonsense. And if we take shelter of Harinam Prabhu, of the pure devotee of Krishna, and the pastimes of Krishna, which are the cure, the pastimes of Krishna, they are the cure for all diseases. If we want to become free from the disease of lust in the heart, we must hear about Rasa Lila Katha. You mean there's a dark man dancing with a bunch of women in the middle of the night? Oh my God. They don't understand that Krishna is transcendental. And from himself, Srimati Radhika manifested. Radha means that. Who was manifested from Krishna's own form and began running toward Krishna with intense desire to love him, to serve him. That is her nature. And from her own form, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tavirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. From her own form, all of her moods of love and affection have manifested and taken forms. Love and affection for Krishna. So all of those moods are expanding into millions and millions of gopis. Bahu Kanta Vinanahe Rasera Ulas. Without so many kantas, without so many beloveds, Ras cannot achieve its highest pinnacle. So therefore Srimati Radhika, who is Krishna's own heart, his own love potency manifesting from himself, Radha Krishna, Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmad. She is his own heart, manifesting for the purpose of tasting love and affection. To hear these Rasa Lila pastimes, this is the cure for the disease of lust in the heart. And if we think that it's some mundane thing and we don't listen to it, then how will we be cured from the disease of lust in the heart, which is what bound us here in the first place? Not possible. Not possible. When devotees used to write Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, my heart is full of so much lust, what should I do? You should read the Rasalila section of Krishna book. That's what he would write them. I know devotees who have letters from Prabhupada where he responded in such a way. This is the cure. The pastimes of Krishna are the cure for all of everything else. And if we come under the guidance of Vaishnavas and Sadhus, we will begin to develop this faith, Shraddha. Firm conviction also in Shastra, but especially in hearing the pastimes of Krishna. If that is lacking, everything is lacking. So we shouldn't mince, we shouldn't give material interpretations on the transcendental. They are completely different from one another. Kunti Devi's strength, or Rukmini's strength, or Radhika's position has nothing to do with the mundane, what do you want to call it? Women's liberation of this world. It has nothing to do with that. We have our material things, they have their transcendental things. Our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan, Keshav Goswami Maharaj, when Achyutananda, that time Swami met him, he said he was lying there on his bed. He said he was huge, so tall and so long. He said to him, if you vibrate mundane or material sound, you will get material results. And if you vibrate Vaikuntha, transcendental sound, then you will get Vaikuntha results. So if we vibrate the sounds of Srimad Bhagavatam, which are completely transcendental, Amala Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amala, transcendental without any flaw, only sweet and juicy through and through, full of all transcendental knowledge, which will completely relieve the heart of all of the burning and suffering and everything. If we take shelter of that transcendental literature, what is the need for anything else? Oh my God. Prabhu Sachtrotra Mano Viramat Ka Uttama Shloka Gunanuvadat. I can't remember the last line at this moment, but I remember hearing Gurudev chant this. I have it. He chants it so high I can barely follow along. So now I'm going to read the question. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, I have a question. 5th verse of... Oh. We grew up with Krishna as our superhero and our Paran Gurudev. Krishna was our superhero. And kids, trust me, they're watching, what is it? SpongeBob SquarePants when they're like 2 and 3 and 4. And these kind of things. Either really weird or useless or strange things. Things that put all kinds of subtle impressions. Or even, what is it? Simpsons. All kinds of weird cartoons. When I was young, when I first started watching cartoons, it was Tom and Jerry. We used to sneak when we go to my grandmother's house on Sunday. We would go and watch cartoons. I was about 7 when I started watching Tom and Jerry. Okay, so that's very violent. Very violent. So many impressions are there, but when you're watching all of these things, there's no impression of Krishna. So what happens as a result? And Srila Prabhupada said, in the daytime, if you see a mountain and you see gold, then at night you will dream of a golden mountain. Well, if in the daytime you're not doing anything related with Krishna and just material or mundane things, then what are you going to think about? What are you going to dream about? What is your consciousness going to be? If we don't absorb our minds in thinking of Krishna, even our Gurudev said, 16 rounds is not enough to stop your crazy, stupid mind from wandering to so many material things. He said minimum, really? 64. Minimum 64, if you want to stop your crazy mind. Only 2 hours in the day? And what, you have the rest? 22 more hours? To do what? Ouch. So much time to meditate on all kinds of other nonsense things. But Shastra says, all Shastra says, Kalam Nayad, without cessation, 24 hours a day, complete absorption in Krishna, without cessation. What is it? Savai pung sang parodhanmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahoituki apratihata. Apratihata means without cessation. Kalam Nayad means 24 hours a day without cessation. Srila Gurudev would say, like a constant stream of oil or honey, without any doop, 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 just a constant steady stream. We should be so absorbed, saturated with Krishna, day and night. And even if we think, oh, this might be a little bad or violent, the result of Krishna's violence, the result of Krishna's pastimes, is that our soul will awaken from its material stupor, sushupti, like anesthetized sleep, since time without beginning. It will begin to awaken up. It will begin to awaken by Krishna Katha to its own intrinsic, eternal, loving service nature to Krishna. That is the result of Krishna Katha. So if you're looking at Tom and Jerry and you're looking at Krishna's pastimes, they both have violence in them. They both have intrigue in them. But one is only going to keep you absorbed in material thoughts, and one is going to wake your soul up to its eternal transcendental nature. So now I'm going to look at this question. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. I have a question. In the 5th verse of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Jive Doya Kori, it says, whoever embodies each of these 6 facets of Sharanagati has their prayers heard by the son of Nanda Maharaj. Does this mean that Krishna only hears the prayers of someone who embodies these and not otherwise? Does Krishna not hear all prayers, or is it Paramatma in the heart that hears the prayers of a soul who's not yet surrendered? So we've actually been discussing this point in Going Beyond Vaikuntha. Srila Gurudev asked this question: if Krishna is completely absorbed in his Leela, so much so that he forgets everything else, then how will he hear your prayers? But this says that Sadanga Sharanagati Hoibe Jahar Tahara Pratana Shune Sri Nanda Kumar, that if someone takes to the 6-fold process of Sharanagati, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, will hear your prayers. So he's manifesting 2 functions simultaneously. One is forgetfulness and absorption in Leela, and the other one is Sarvagyata, all-knowing and hearing one's prayers. Now, if our prayers are not with this mood of Sharanagati, then they may go to Paramatma or Narayan. Srila Gurudev said that if we go to the shop and we purchase something thinking, oh, I want to eat this, I think it's going to be really nice and tasty, already we're enjoying it within our mind. Then we come home and we cook it and we think, oh yeah, my family's going to really love this. So, and then as an afterthought we go, oh yeah, I have to offer it. So then we take it and we put it on the altar. But we've already mentally enjoyed it and offered it to our family. And then as an afterthought, we put it on the altar and put some tulsi there, chant some mantras, and ring a bell. How will this attract Krishna? Is it done with love and affection, or is it an afterthought? Was he the first thought? Is he our priority, or is he secondary? In this case, he's secondary. So, Srila Gurudev said, Krishna will tell Narayan, if someone's ringing a bell somewhere, you should go and remove the karma from that food and make it prasad. This is different than Krishna himself coming and taking that. Narayan, someone's ringing a bell, you should remove the karma from it. So ding, 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 ding. And Gurudev actually said ding, 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 Narayan. Ding, ding, Narayan, like this. He said Krishna doesn't like remnants. No, we're offering the remnants to him. He said Krishna likes everything young and fresh. Everything fresh means he wants everything. That's why he says, Mam ekam sharanam raja. Surrender everything unto me alone. Ekam. Ekantik bhakti. Ananya bhakti everywhere. Bhakta tvananyaya sakya. Sarvadharma prityaja mam ekam sharanam raja. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. Ananya, ekantik. All of these moods of one-pointedness he wants. Exclusivity. That exclusivity is mentioned in the best verse of Bhakti. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. This means exclusively for Krishna. He likes exclusivity. So, if someone is only giving him their remnants, then he will just say, okay, you should remove the karma. But it is different than adharamrit, the nectar of Krishna. You know, in this bhajan, Bhajabhakata Vatsala Shri Gaurahari, Srimati Radhika is cooking for Krishna. Then she sends that cooking to Krishna. He tastes that. Oh, what nectar. All of the moods in her heart as she's cooking, she's offering that to Krishna. And Krishna's tasting that. It means he's tasting her heart, her love, her affection. And then on some pretext, he bites into some sweet, makes some bitter face and puts it back on the plate and says, take it back to the cook. Like any king would do. What is this? Right? How dare you send this thing to me? He makes it look like that. But when it comes back to her, her heart wells up with excitement. Oh, Krishna has sent this back to me. His own bite mark is in there. And then she takes that. Through that, there's meeting. And our pure Vaishnava, Srila Gurudev, is sitting there with his plate, with all this prasadam, serving the rasa stali, serving the intimate meeting of Radha and Krishna in the form of prasadam. And we're sitting there going, oh my God, yeah, let's have this grub. Instead of doing kirtan, serving Harinam Prabhu, we're like, let's do this gig. There's such a difference between these moods. So if our mood is right, if we actually have a mood of Sharanagati, then Krishna may hear these prayers. Otherwise, it will go to Paramatma or Narayan. But at least we know that Krishna's own manifestation has appeared in our life as Sri Guru, and Sri Guru will hear our prayers. His function is to be all-knowing in terms of the heart of the disciple, to be able to help us and assist us. So Gurudev has explained and spoken about these subjects. Yes, we may think that Krishna is hearing our prayers, but if we're not really praying with a melted heart, then how will we attract him? Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaja said, if we are standing on one side saying, Krishna, come to lunch, and Mother Yashoda is standing on the other side saying, Krishna, come to lunch, which way will he go? He runs where the love is. So our love has to come up, so that Krishna will want to run and steal the love of our heart as well. But that love has to come up, and it will come up in the association of those who have it. Bhakta sanjataya bhakta. By the devotee, by their bhakti, bhakti in our heart will awaken, and it will grow and increase, and they will nurture it, culture it, until it attains perfection. That perfection is binding itself to the lotus feet of Krishna, and then the fruits of prema will manifest. Who eats the fruits of prema? We take the fruits of prema? I think after Krishna takes it, then we take it. But the fruit of transcendental divine love and affection manifests. Then Krishna will be greedy to steal our hearts. Until that time, if we don't have eagerness for him, why would he take notice? We're not really interested. He's waiting for us. But he's waiting for us to look toward him and to love him and to serve him, but he's not going to force us. So he mercifully comes in the form of Guru to teach us, to train us, to enculture us, and Vaishnavas, Guru and Vaishnavas, Sadhu Guru, to bring us to that point of spontaneous love and affection for Krishna. You don't even want to know what subtle, gross concepts are in those cartoons, mostly objectifying women and the concept that being a winner in this world is the ultimate happiness. Yes, we've already discussed these things. Every pastime of the Lord has such a profound lesson that children can understand. Yes, and especially if you're reading in Srila Prabhupada's books, he puts so much tattva siddhanta, and also he mixes all of the commentaries of all of our acharyas, the previous acharyas in. He's not always saying that this one said, and this one said, and this one said. Sometimes he is, but he's so infused with their moods and conceptions, and also his own heart's mood. Everything is coming together. And so he's qualifying everything in such a deep way. In such a deep way that he's protecting Krishna's pastimes with tattva siddhanta, so that we don't make these mistakes of materializing them. Some people have taken the Krishna book and stripped it down to just be the simple pastimes without the qualifying words. And then people have read those and they don't have the checks and balances. And then they begin looking at it like, oh, this is mundane. But Srila Prabhupada very carefully crafted his words in Krishna book so that we would not mundanize the pastimes of Krishna. We are completely indebted to him for that. Yes, Devaki, Krishna is our superhero. Srila Prabhupada established this point. Why? He was actually telling all of these same things. That's why we need to concentrate on the pastimes of Krishna. And that's why Krishna shows these pastimes, to distract us from our own pastimes and the pastimes of other things in this material world, and bring us to thinking about, contemplating, remembering, and meditating upon, even obsessing over the pastimes of Krishna. There is no negativity, no ill effect from the pastimes of Krishna, if we are receiving them properly. If we're receiving them from Parampara, from Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas. That same subject matter, Rasa Lila, if we're hearing it from the pure devotee, it will remove our lust. If we're hearing it from someone whose heart is full of lust and everything else, it will increase our lust. So who are we hearing from? How are we? If we're just reading it ourselves, we will also filter it. Especially if we've stripped out all of the checks and balances that Srila Prabhupada gave or our Guru Varga gave, and just make it something which seems like a story of this world. Still it's superior. Even those cartoons that they've made in India of Krishna's pastimes, they kind of make it look like any material superhero. But if those children have the understanding from their parents and from Guru Sadhu and Shastra that this is Krishna, the transcendental supreme personality of Godhead, if they have that understanding, then they will see it in that light. If they don't have that understanding, then it's very easy to mundanize the pastimes of Krishna. And nowadays, especially in India, there's a massive onslaught of persons trying to convince the population that it's just mythology. Especially in India, that all of the Bhagavatam and the stories and everything, the leelas, the pastimes of the Lord, it's just mythology. So there's so much atheism becoming rampant more and more in this world. If we take the concepts and the association of atheists, then we will also have an atheistic outlook toward Krishna. This is why Mahaprabhu says, don't read too many books. Don't divert your mind and your attention to too many other subjects. Keep your mind focused on the subjects of Krishna. Otherwise, your resolve in bhakti will become weakened. And Krishna says, even one of your senses which is left unchecked can fully drag the mind and intelligence of any very high-level person into illusion. So Mahaprabhu, he says, be careful about diverting your mind to so many subject matters of this world. Gramya katha na shunibe, he tells Raghunath Das Goswami. Don't hear all of this worldly katha. What will happen? And nowadays, we don't need to read books. I mean, it's popping up every time you get a notification. Ding, 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 this news, this information, that information. And we find that even devotees are absorbing themselves fully in these subject matters, trying to convince each other of this and that and this and that. And we lose the plot. What's the plot? The plot is, all of that stuff is why I'm stuck in suffering in this material world in the first place. Either side of the same coin. Good karma, the bad karma, the good, the bad, this thing, that thing, whatever. It's not about Krishna. How is it going to help me at the time of my departure from this world? If it's not related to Hari, Guru, Vaisnava, and Shastra, if it's not going to bring me there, if it's not going to bring my mind to the lotus feet of Krishna, then why? What is the purpose? I have to look a little further. So, as I told you before, we went to bed every single day listening to Golden Avatar Krishna stories. And if you want, I'm going to post a link that you can download after this class. I've got so many of those stories on MP3, and you can just download that link. We listened to it every night as we were going to bed. Lord Varaha, Nrsingadev, Sri Ramachandra, the one from England, really good one, The Adventures of the Great King Rom. Sudama visits Lord Krishna. Krishna and Arjuna visit Mahavishnu. The story of Krishna's flute means Venu Gita. So many pastimes of Krishna as a child means baby Krishna. And these are directly from Srila Prabhupada's books, but done in a very beautiful, like an audio book with music and everything. Quite exciting. And they're full of all of the essential teachings as well that Srila Prabhupada gave. So these are very, very beneficial, very good to hear. By Srila Prabhupada's mercy, those pastimes can manifest in one's heart if one is open to them and has the understanding that Krishna is not mundane, he's not material, he's transcendental, and therefore everything about Krishna's pastimes is beneficial and transcendental for the transcendental soul. How old is the soul? It is eternal, like Krishna. Sanatana, eternal, like Krishna. So maybe the body might be young, but we've carried millions of impressions for trillions and trillions and trillions of births, all kinds of births, diseases, old age, and deaths, in every single way, and every single sinful activity that we have ever done, and every single act of violence that we have ever been subjected to. Srila Gurudev explained there is not one sin we have not performed millions of times over in our sojourn through our material existence. Which means there's nothing that we haven't suffered as well. We've also endured so many hellish conditions as well. We have absorbed all of these impressions since time without beginning. Just because somebody's a little child doesn't mean that those impressions aren't within them. They're also carrying these impressions. How do we undo that? How do we dissolve all of it? Kapila Dev tells his mother Devahuti in Srimad Bhagavatam, only through the process of bhakti yoga are the mind, intelligence, and ego, the subtle body, dissolved. Just as when you put food into your stomach and the acids dissolve that, in the same way, by the process of bhakti yoga, you dissolve all of your material conditioning. It is digested by the process of bhakti yoga. And what is the result? All ignorance is destroyed. And what is placed in its place? Divya Gyan, transcendental knowledge of my relationship with Krishna. Krishna Prem, love and affection for Krishna, which is the nature of every soul, without which any soul cannot find full satisfaction. Yayatma suprasidati. Only through that process of bhakti yoga can one become completely happy, satisfied, and attain divine perfection. Yes, the golden avatar tapes. So I made a promise to myself that I would read something. It's very close to the end, but we're entering into going beyond Vaikuntha. This is the commentary on Brihad Bhagavatamrita, one of the commentaries by our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is compiled by Sri Sanatan Goswami, what he received in his heart. So before entering into this book, we'll pray in the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami to Sanatan Goswami and to our Gurudev. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatna Rapayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripam Vidirya Paraduk Duki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Praying in the dust of the lotus feet of our Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. So we ended with, this is the very pinnacle of both Ras and Bhagavata, Bhagavan's nature as the Supreme. What is it? That Srimati Radhika is controlling Krishna by her love and affection. What is the name of Krishna? The first person to, the name for Krishna who is completely subjugated by his dear most beloved girlfriend. Come on, the first person to give that answer wins. With a little bit of a delay here. What is the name of Krishna who is controlled by his beloved? No. There's a term, it's in Nectar of Devotion. And it's also mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in the conversations between Rai Ramananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. Well, I'm not going to tell you, I'm just going to wait until it comes up and I'll keep reading here. So when Srimati Radhika tells Krishna, today you decorate my hair, and he follows behind her, and she says, I'm unable to walk any further, and he takes her on his shoulders. All of these things are mugdata, means he becomes completely forgetful of everything else, even the fact that he's God, and he's completely subjugated and controlled by his dear most beloved. This is the very pinnacle of both Ras and Bhagavata, Bhagavan's nature as the Supreme. So all aspects are contained within that. Regarding the older gopis, they all desired that Krishna would become their son, and all of the cows desired that Krishna, Haribol, Walter Vedanta Sutra Smith, Dhir Lalita. That is the title or the name for that idea of Krishna being completely subjugated by his beloved. This mood is the mood that all Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, the Rupanuga Guru Varga, aspire to see, that Krishna is subjugated by the love of Srimati Radhika. They want to see this. Not that she's crying after Krishna, but that Krishna is chasing after her, crying after her. Kotai go premamai Radhe Radhe. Going from kunj to kunj, weeping and weeping. Radhe, where are you? Where are you? As Srila Gurudev Maharaj would say, you have to listen to that lecture from Srila Gurudev Maharaj. Radha Prem makes Krishna mad. It is amazing. Amazing. So maybe someone can post a link to that lecture also in this comment. So regarding the older gopis, they all desired that Krishna would become their son, and all of the cows desired that Krishna would become their calf. Krishna saw that drinking the milk of one mother would not fill his stomach. The love of one mother would not be sufficient. Similarly, the love of one gopi is not sufficient for him. For him, millions of gopis are necessary. We just spoke about this. He desires the affection of millions of mothers, and that will fill his stomach. Therefore, one day he thought, today in Braj, I will have millions of mothers. I will marry millions of gopis, and I will become the calf of millions of cows. Because all of those cows desired to have him as their son. They also had Vatsalya Prem toward him, and so they wanted to have this motherly affection and express that affection for Krishna. But Krishna also fulfills all of the desires of everyone. This is his nature, to fulfill all of the desires of everyone. They desire to love him as their own son, and all of the gopis desire to have him as their very own, Prananath, their Upapati. So Krishna is also desiring to reciprocate. As one is approaching him, he also reciprocates. So here, he's desiring that I will have millions of mothers, and I will marry millions of gopis, and I will become the calf of millions of cows. Let's see, how will I do it? By connection with the Supersoul. It could be done. But in this human-like form, in Naralila, it will be very difficult. So, now we have Krishna's Sarvagyata, some kind of mood of all-knowingness manifesting, because his desire is to satisfy everyone. So Yoga Maya, his internal potency, just like we have our desire potency. We desire, and then as a result of that thinking, then the feeling comes, and then the willing comes, means we act upon that desire. Krishna also has this. Yoga Maya is not some external thing separate from him, although we might see that every bhav, every mood of his has a personality. Still, she is his internal potency. So the internal potency makes possible all of his desires to be fulfilled instantaneously. Therefore, he is known as Atmaram Aptakam, self-satisfied, and all desires are fulfilled automatically within himself. He has no need for anything else. So for this purpose, he bewildered Brahma. He sent inspiration into the heart of Brahma to come there to Braj. So this is by the potency of Yoga Maya. Because Krishna is desiring something, just like Srimad Narayan desired, I want to fight. His devotee immediately wants to satisfy his desire. So within the hearts of Jai and Vijay, they desired, we want to fight you. Who can fight Krishna? No ordinary demon. But his devotee, yes. We see that the cowherd boys are wrestling with Krishna, and they can slam him in the dust and jump on top of him and win in a wrestling match. Mother Yashoda can bind Krishna. Srimati Radhika can make Krishna in such a way that he's begging for her, praying and crying for her. So the devotee can control Krishna by their love. They can give Krishna a reasonable fight. So, by Narayan's will to fight, his devotees, Jai and Vijay, also desire to reciprocate naturally. But who can fight him? Only the devotee. and he wanted a good fight. So as devotees, it wouldn't have been good enough. So as demons, they accepted 3 times as his enemy. Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, Shishupala, and Dantavakra. And then they came as Jagai and Madai. Who weren't his enemy, they became his devotee. So here, for the purpose of fulfilling his desires, he bewildered Brahma. He sent inspiration into the heart of Brahma to come to Braj. Then Brahma saw the killing of Aghasur and thought, this is a marvelous thing. How did this young coward boy give liberation to that demon? He saw the soul of Aghasur rise into the sky and then enter into the body of Krishna. And Brahma is witnessing this, completely bewildered, because he's seeing it's just a little boy. How is it possible? So to see more pastimes of Krishna, Brahma could have prayed like this, O Lord, I want to see more of your Leela. Please be merciful to me and show me more of your pastimes. It is an ordinary prayer, and Krishna would have fulfilled it. But Brahma didn't do this. He thought, all right, I will see more of his activities for myself. This pastime goes on for a while, and it's quite in depth. So I'm just going to read this paragraph, and then we will end here. One way to find out what you want to know is to ask someone. Another way is to just sit patiently and wait for someone to automatically tell you. Leaving aside the desire to know, one may think, if I am qualified to understand, then he will tell me. But instead, in order to find out something for himself, Brahma thought, I will place an obstacle in his way. So he thought, I'll place an obstacle in his way. So this means he's taking an active role. He wants to see what Krishna will do. How did this idea come into his mind? In the form of Chaitya Guru, Bhagavan causes something to arise in someone's heart. He himself inspired this idea within Brahma, so Brahma would place an obstacle in his Leela. And then Krishna would be able to fulfill all of his objectives, yet still remain within Nara Leela, his human-like pastimes. So here we see something interesting. Chaitya Guru, this is Paramatma or Bhagavan within the heart. This is an aspect of Krishna. Krishna is desiring, but the other aspect of himself, Sarvabhyata aspect of himself, is arranging for everything to take place. So that Krishna can remain, means Braj Krishna can remain within his Braj mood or Nara Leela, human-like pastimes. So it is when the original form of the Lord appears, Gurudeva explains, and all of our Shastras explain, Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, when Adi Purusha, when the original Krishna or the original form of God appears, all other forms are automatically present within him. And so they accomplish the many functions or tasks according to their natures, where he's just little Krishna. But they within him are doing so many activities like killing demons, and here, inspiring within the heart of Brahma. Chaitya Guru means Guru within the heart or Paramatma. Paramatma manifests externally. Chaitya Guru, Paramatma, the Supreme Soul, Super Soul within the heart, manifests externally as Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. But here he's saying, Chaitya Guru or Bhagavan within the heart causes something to arise within someone's heart. So he himself inspired this idea within Brahma, so Brahma would place an obstacle in Krishna's Leela, and then Krishna would be able to fulfill all of his objectives, yet still remain within Nara Leela, his human-like pastimes, because otherwise it would appear to be too much awe and reverence or Aishwarya, which can disrupt the bhav or the leelas of Vrindavan. So Krishna likes a certain mood in Braj. He likes sweetness mood. If he wanted, he could manifest his forms as Lord Nishingadev and all of like this, but it would disturb his pastimes. So he performs his pastimes just like an ordinary child, sometimes manifesting something like lifting Govardhan hill, but still no one thinks he's God. They've heard from Gargamuni, Oh yeah, in Krishna's astrology chart somewhere, sometimes it is said that sometimes Narayan might, his Shakti may be infused through this child. So maybe it is the potency of Narayan. Oh, he's killed these demons. Oh yes, maybe something. You know, he's been Shakti Avesh. He's been infused with some special potency. And then they start discussing it, and then Nanda Baba is discussing with them, and he's like, "Are you crazy? You people have not even developed your milk teeth yet. You're just like babies. You don't know anything. Does Bhagavan pinch babies and make them cry when he doesn't get what he wants? Does he cry and roll on the floor? Does he urinate on the floor when he doesn't get his, sweets, sugar candy and makan mishri? What is it? Butter and sugar candy? Does Bhagavan dance like that for laddus? And any gopi telling him, if you dance, then I will give you a laddu, and then he dances a beautiful little dance, and then they give him a laddu? Does God do this? You can think that he's God or whatever you want, but as far as I'm concerned, he's my son, and I must discipline him, or else he will become a gunda when he grows up. Mafioso, I cannot afford to do that. I must do my duty. And then they're all like, yeah, you're right. What were we thinking? And they all start laughing. Why did we think that? So immediately, Madhurya, sweetness, Naralila, again is flowing. Sometimes this Aishwarya Bhav pokes its head out for one moment like a straw coming through 40 gallons of boiling milk. One straw rises to the surface, and then instantly again, dives back in. Braj is like this oceans and oceans of nectar, and Aishwarya is like one particle of dust in these oceans of nectar. So Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Guru Parampara ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Oh gosh. Since we spoke about Putana, Radhika Chandra is asking if they can hear the childhood Putana song that we sing for Gurudev.
Harmonium?
Putana was a Kishori, and so she could fly in the sky. Although she was evil, she entered Gokula, where everyone let her pass by. Because of her smiling beauty and the lotus in her hand, Yashoda and Rohini thought that the goddess of fortune had come. Putana was a sword in a decorated case, because of the poison upon her breast. She was a demon, Krishna could tell, so he sucked down her milk and her life as well. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Shri Shri Radha Bihari Ji ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Ramana Lal ki jai. Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Hare Ram Sankirtan ki jai. Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Nikari Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Govinda Nam Dharmadaviti Govinda Nam Dharmadaviti Govinda Nam Dharmadaviti Govinda Nam Dharmadaviti. Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Hari Lal ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gauravanande.
Hari Hari Bo.
So thank you very much for being with us today, for engaging us in remembering the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, and especially today, the glories of Krishna's pastimes and the benefit of hearing them, and just for engaging us in our Guru Seva every day. We are indebted to all of you for that. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Pujpad Bhaktivedanta Tirtha Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.